Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein remains on the job despite a flurry of media reports throughout the day announcing he had resigned or was going to be fired. It comes days after a New York Times article said Rosenstein had planned to remove President Trump from office. White House correspondent Mark Irons reports. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Lauren. Rod Rosenstein denies that New York Times report. He was here at the White House today for what was later described as a pre-scheduled meeting, but he reportedly was expecting to be fired by Chief of Staff John Kelly. That did not happen. Now, in a call for transparency, the president says he'll be meeting with Rosenstein later this week.
Rod Rosenstein leaves the White House today, remaining in his role as Deputy Attorney General. Morning media reports said Rosenstein had resigned, then that he was headed to the White House expecting to be fired Monday by the president's chief of staff, John Kelly. On Friday, the New York Times reported Rosenstein had discussed the possibility of secretly recording the president and invoking the Constitution to have the cabinet remove him from office in the days after the president fired FBI Director James Comey. Rosenstein called the report inaccurate and factually incorrect. Today, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders released this statement saying, at the request of Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, he and President Trump had an extended conversation to discuss the recent news stories. Because the president is at the United Nations General Assembly and has a full schedule with leaders from around the world, they will meet on Thursday when the president returns to Washington, D.C. The fate of Rosenstein remains unclear, but the president's frustration with the Department of Justice is well documented.
Just look at what is now being exposed in our Department of Justice and the FBI. Look at what's going on.
The president's frustration with the ongoing Russia investigation is also clear. He often calls it a witch hunt. The special counsel in that investigation, Robert Mueller, was appointed by Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, and Rosenstein oversees that investigation. So if he was fired or if he resigned, it could have an immediate impact on the Russia probe going forward. Lauren.
White House correspondent Mark Irons. Thank you, Mark.